Well, hello, everybody. My name is Steve, the group's pastor here at the Worship Center, and I'm here with Pastor Justin. And welcome to a brand new thing we're trying out called Read This. It's actually really cool. It's talking about books that you have read and books that you are recommending for people to read. So if we could actually jump right in. I'm super excited though. I'm excited about this. This is really cool for the insight and the growth for the people of the Worship Center and what God can do in their life. So we could actually jump right in and let us know what book we're going to be reviewing today.
Well, today we're reviewing a book I think is one of the best books to introduce community and the importance of community to every person. So I think this is a great book for you to review. But the book that I think is one of the best books to introduce community to every person is, and the idea of closeness and community is, dun, 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 it's Bo's Cafe.
Bo's Cafe, great book.
Yes.
Great
book, my friend. The author, again, is Lynch, Thrall, and McNichol. These guys, they're founders of this organization called Truefaced, and these men have authored several books, and there's not a book they've authored that I haven't absolutely loved. This is a book that's pretty near and dear to my heart, and I know yours too, because we use this book as part of our leadership development groups. This is a book that is the very first book you're supposed to read. And as you read it, you're kind of introduced to this idea of the value of why you should have community around you. Mm-hmm. And again, these groups that I lead are men's groups. And so I definitely think women can get just as much out of this book as men.
Yeah,
but
they can.
It's going to come from my perspective as a guy. But Bo's Cafe is as we're talking about the book summary, is a fictional story about a high-powered executive named Stephen Kenner, and in his life begins to just come unraveled, starts crashing down, and his broken life leads him to a community of people that walk Stephen through his anger and unmet expectations. And that doesn't sound like something that every person could probably identify with. Well, that is. But,
yeah.
Steve, did I do justice to the book summary?
You did, and I've actually I've had the privilege of reading this book, and as the group's pastor here at the church, you're right. This is almost a book that almost pretty much everyone should read, because it really breaks down the whole community and how a person can be surrounded by people and how those people can walk through life with that person and help them out. And we here at the Worship Center, we always say circles are better than rows.
Right.
And the bottom line is God did not create us to be alone. He created us to be in fellowship and in community. And so we always say, get into a group, because when you do and you're around people, you're better together. And when you find a group, guess what? That group now becomes your family. So this book is, just like you said, an amazing book to read, especially if you're looking at possibly getting into that community part. So,
right, and the value of why you need to do that.
Exactly. All right, so do me a favor, sir. Tell me about the readability. Was it a difficult read? Was it an easy read? On a scale from 1 to 5.
1 to 5, 1 being difficult, 5 being an easy read.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, my friend, it don't get easier than this. This is an easy read. It's the book is told in a fable story form. It's a novel, and it's just well written, and talks about the importance of authentic community, but in story form. So absolute easy read. It don't get easier than Bo's Cafe.
Yeah, it was an easy read. Now, on the informational side of the house, on a scale from 1 to 5, was it informative, or is it something, when you read it, is it something like brand new that you've never heard before?
Right. So on my scale, it's 1 to 5. 1 being it's not new. It's not a new subject. 5 being earth shattering, brand new. Never heard before. Man,
Exactly.
this is something that's definitely a 1. Now it's a 1 for me because I've, like yourself, I've been a groups pastor. I have been involved in small groups, for all my ministry as a pastor. I've never been where I didn't have a small group that I was in or
Right.
part of or leading. So this is something it's not new at all, but it still is important. And being able to introduce people to the idea of community and story form, I think is valuable. So I'm not saying that it's not informational. I'm just saying that there wasn't new information for me, but
Got it.
still
Got it.
a great read.
Yeah, I will say that for someone who's reading it for the first time, it is very informational.
Right.
And there might be things that they see in the book that they may be struggling with in their own life, and
Sure.
so it's just like you said, it's just a great book to read. Let's talk about the value of the book on a scale from 1 to 5. Was the application low, or is this something that going down the road, it's not a one and out, or is it, hey, I'm going to revisit this book going down the road?
Right. And every book's valuable. And I probably should change the wording. I probably will. From 1 being it's on my shelf collecting dust to 5 being I revisit it a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's a novel, I don't really revisit it a lot. So I rate it a 3. It's right down the middle. And the reason why it's not lower than a 3, because I don't really thumb through the book again, is because
Right.
it still there's still language in my life when I talk to people about community. I'm always recommending this book. I'm always recommending it. And I think it's very valuable. For me, I'm not revisiting, I'm not thumbing through it again,
Right.
but the concepts are still there. So it's an absolute 3 right down the middle.
Cool. And let everybody know why they should read this book.
All right. So though the book is directed to men, I think women could also get a lot out of it. This idea of fear of authenticity and community will only really result in a frustrated life. You and I both know that. And every man, every woman needs to read this book to learn how to fight through the barriers of finding community. That you got to do whatever you got to do to have community. It's worth the fight. It's worth the struggle. It's worth the investment. I've never met anyone that said, you know what, I spent way too much time investing in the deep relationships of my life. No one's ever. I mean, but yet we escape through life, and then we look up one day and go, man, I'm lonely. I don't have any friends. I don't have anyone to call.
Exactly.
And you have a role to play in this.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to be convinced of the value of it before you start investing in it. So this is why I recommend this book. And Steve, I also recommend someone to share this video or to subscribe or check out other videos that we're doing here at the Worship Center. Our goal as a church is really, your growth is really our goal. We want people to grow in their faith,
for them to grow,
and give them content to help. And leaders are learners, and if you want to grow, be a reader. And so I think this is just one of many videos we do to just kind of help people in their faith and in their life to grow and to become all that God wants them to be. And so I highly recommend the book. And Steve, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that.
No problem. We'll see you next time.